Hey guys, Mitch here. Today we are going to have part two of three of my interview with Ray. I really hope you guys enjoy the things that we talked about. I really hope that this video adds value to something that you have going on in today. Hopefully, it's relatable to some of our military folks that may be stuck in what to do next. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys are continuing to add value to those that you interact with. So back to that phone call. I know that at the time in 2021, you had properties that you were um, Airbnb and managing and stuff like that. Do you think that was that happening before the burnout, or was it kind of in the process of
No,
it?
I mean I started that first the first property I actually got into was in March of 2020. So the
Right
2019,
around the COVID
yeah,
time.
the 2019 is when we got passed over, ended up getting hurt. And that's why I said I started listening to ET. There's a my real estate mentor Jamal King. He's on there, and his course came out. And then March of 2020 is when I started. I was like, yo, like I'm fully committing to this, and no longer focusing on like I didn't care, bro. I didn't care what commander said. I didn't care what the sergeant major said. I didn't care what brigade said. I didn't care what anybody said. I was like, because everybody's got their opinion of, oh, you a road warrant, like you retired on active duty, and I was, you call it what you want, man. And even some of our peers were having issues with how disconnected I was, because like, oh, what about the cohort? I'm like, what about my family?
I went through the same thing, bro. And so, um, the one thing that I've noticed throughout my years in the military was that the people that work the hardest get worked the hardest. So about year 18, 19, you're you're drained, and so like you become disgruntled. Like I know even soldiers that are like 3 or 4 years in the military, like that specialist that knows where everything
Yeah,
is, that does everything, that just knows the ins and outs of that unit. That soldier is going to be burnt out and is going to want to do something else besides the
yeah,
military. And it's sad that the good soldiers are the ones that always get passed over. And I'm not saying that all good soldiers get passed over, but it seems like the ones that I know, because like I said from the very beginning of this video, I've known you for years, so I know your work ethic. I know, in candidate school, when something that needs to be presented to the hires, who are we going to have do it? Ray going to do it. You know what I mean? So like I know the person that you are, which is exactly why I've kind of um, came to your hip, if you will. When it comes to certain things, like when I went to that lawn conference, I was like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about doing this," and you gave me some feedback on it, and then I was like, I incorporated it, and it turned out to be a right decision. You know what I mean?
still
So,
love those videos.
um,
Where's my aerator?
yeah, but but man, it's been a wild ride since I've been out of the military. So I'm gonna ask you, what do you miss about the army?
Nothing. Bro, I don't, man,
So,
I mean, I drive by whatever they want to call Fort Hood, Fort Cavassier, whatever they want to call it now. I drive by that thing, and I act like I'm passing somebody I know in the grocery store. Act like I don't see him, bro. Man, I don't miss nothing, like at all. Like I don't know, man. That's why, like, I thought it was so important. So, like, whenever people start listening to this and hearing things like building your own identity and like your own purpose and stuff like before you get out. I think that like I don't miss any of it. And a lot of it comes to like what you were saying, like the successful ones, like you become a victim of your own success. Because when anything comes up and I know it's going to get done, and especially if something's last minute, which everything is last minute. So if I know it's going to get done
Yes.
and it's last minute and I can give you as minimal guidance as possible, you going to be the one. And that's like when we were the time when we met in Alabama at Arsenal, man, they tried to call me back from Arsenal to go to Iraq. But I already had
I
yeah,
remember that. I
I already
remember
had
that.
my advanced course scheduled. And I was like, "No, brother, they run the advanced course once a year. Like I'm already locked in there." But even that, like they were pissed off at me for that. But I was like, "Yo, I've been TDY, like temporary duty away from home, not deployed for 9 months out of this calendar year. Why? Because
Mhm.
Ray's that guy." And I'm not saying there's someone out there who's always that guy, like or gal, like you just get stuff done. So every time, like you're the number one draft pick for every project, everything that needs to get done. Like right now, like I know you're gonna get it done, and all I gotta say is, "Hey, get this," and you're running with it. But then as soon as you're back, there's something else, and it's like, "Hey, yo, get this." So you get passed over, and this is why I got passed over because then they're like, "Yo, we never see you. You never
Yeah.
see me because I'm never physically here because I'm in Germany, I'm in Utah, I'm in Hawaii, I'm in Idaho, I'm in Alabama. You trying to call me back from Alabama to go to Iraq?" And I'm like, "Nah, dude.
Mhm.
Like, yo, nope, nope."
Yeah. There are a few things that I do miss about the
You miss
army,
jumping out of
and
planes?
uh, that's for sure. Even though that's the reason that I got med boarded, but I miss that. I miss that so much, man. Like
Man, it was hey,
brag as a
yeah,
whole, brag as a whole was just. Um, I feel like you had to be there to truly understand, the what it
the
meant to
men
be like in the
yeah,
82nd.
yeah.
You
Like,
know,
just what are we doing today? We running. Where are we running? We're running Coolacanch. Yo,
yeah,
like they were talking like beach sand
but
uphill, felt like both ways, 8 miles. Like we just like not
yeah.
did hey, you just got notified 10 minutes before it's happened. Like, all right, stretch, we going. But on that, I just want you to know, I don't miss jumping because I was afraid of heights.
Oh, I'm terrified of heights, bro.
Bro, you got like what you had? You got like a aren't you a centurion?
I I I jumped 100
Okay, I
times.
only had
Yes.
29 jumps. I was like, when I left, I was like, never again. Never, never again.
But like I said, I do miss certain things about the army. But honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, I rarely think about the army. Like in my little room, and you see the photos behind me. But like that's like the only thing army related in my household. But in my man cave down here. And the same with my wife, man. Like we rarely talk about the army. Just because it's it's behind us, and I'm forever grateful for you know my time in the army, the people that I've met. I've made some really strong relationships and connections. I met my wife in the army.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So I'm forever grateful for that. But it's it's in my past, and it's a past that I won't neglect. But also I'm trying to build something else. So it's kind of like we stay 30 minutes from Fort Carson,
cool.
so it's not like I don't have to drive by it to see it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's no signs that say Fort Carson this way until you get about you know a little bit down the highway. So that's also a good thing. But I don't really think about it a whole lot unless I'm reminiscing with somebody about the military. And then, so my next question to you is: in your personal and professional life, what tools have you taken from the army that you may use on a daily basis?
I mean, a lot of the stuff we did, bro. I mean, we always, especially with our career, man, our career. I always like to joke with people. I was like, yeah, like when I was in, I was like, yo, like do you know what LARPing is? And people like, I'm like, it's live action role play. Like we are professional LARPers. Like we just gonna go out there and we're gonna be, you remember those videos like pew lightning bolt, like you're hit, sucking chest wound. Like we were always worst case scenario, like most dangerous course of action. And being able to use that, honestly, I'm gonna say like vision, because I've always had to think, okay, especially when we did exercise design, how is this going to go? How are we going to get the results that we want when we're designing this exercise? Because I know your habits. So I'm going to force you to go this way with this trigger for you to respond. Like just being able to anticipate requirements. Like, let me identify problems before they ever come up and have solutions in place before anybody ever even talks about it. So being
Yeah.
able to navigate that and honestly just being able to thrive in chaos, especially in the entrepreneurial space, man, just being able to thrive in chaos, like it honestly doesn't bother me. Um, like I don't ever be like, well, I used to do this or I've been in worse situations. Like that's not me. It's just a matter of, yo, something's gonna go wrong. Like
Yeah.
so I'm not mad or surprised when it does. I'm like, yo, I was expecting it. I took surprised it took this long. Like, where were you at?
I feel like for me, I use like PowerPoint and Excel more now than I did in in the military. They really uh, they gave me some skills when it comes to the Microsoft products, man. And that's one that I use pretty often.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it earlier how you got into real estate back in 2020. Was there a purpose behind that? Was it like you seen someone else do it and you were like, I can excel in that? Like how did that
I mean,
start?
that was just like I said, like listening to the Secret to Success podcast, listening to doing the Jamal King, like he was a Chicago police officer for 20 years and had built a multi million dollar, real estate portfolio while he was still in. And one of the things that he continues to say, like matter of fact, he's running a summit this week. But he continues to say is like, you're already in it, you're just on the wrong side of it. Like you cutting a check to somebody else and somebody should be cutting a check to you. So when I was like, yo, I'm done with this as far as the army, that just seemed like the most obvious thing. Like there wasn't something that it wasn't something that I was like wanting to do or something that I was really, really trying to do. And I was like, okay, I've got 3 years ish, 2020. I got 3 years ish before I retire that I got to figure out a way to replace my income. Like, because I was like, I'm not guaranteed to get any type of VA disability. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I do know my check's gonna get cut in half the moment I retire. Like they're gonna give me 50%. And I was like, I just gotta find a way just to replace that income so I can be status quo. And I was like, yo, I got 3 years. I got
Gotcha.
like 3 years to replace like $3,400 a month. Man, I did that in like 6 months. And
Nice.
then I was like, okay, okay. Now it's time to
And
run
then
with it.
so for someone that is considering uh, jumping into the real estate business, if you will, what advice would you give to them to try to point them in the right direction?
Know what?
Is there any advice that you can give
Yeah,
them?
know why you're doing it. Like know why you're doing it. Like I knew when I retired, man, like it wasn't just my dissatisfaction with being in the army anymore. It was I don't want to be a DoD contractor. I don't want to be a DA civilian. I don't want to get out and just go put on khakis and polos and do the exact same thing that I was doing and complaining about while I was in uniform. I was like that. So why I was doing it was I wanted to be present, like physically present with my daughters. Like I just wanted to full autonomy of my time, decide what I wanted to do. That's why that's why I did it. So if you know why you do it, and it has to be big enough that no matter what you do can never be bigger than why you do it. And as long as you have that in place, no matter what you're doing, it'll never surpass. So when you run into issues, because there's plenty of issues in this business, plenty of problems. Like a matter of fact, you're looking for problems. You're looking for properties that have problems for it to make sense.
Mm,
So for someone to expect that it's going to be just super exciting and fun all the time, like it's not. But why I do it is always bigger than that. So like even this week, like my daughter, she just wanted to be in summer camp, because I want to spend time with her, but she wants to be around other kids. So this week I was like, fine,
mhm.
like I'll take you to camp. Like, but even that though, like even at night, we've been doing like summer pool parties, just her and I. We got music out there, man. We out in the pool until
Yeah,
like 11 o'clock at night. No worries about me
nice.
having to get back to sleep, early because I got work tomorrow. I mean, I do have work, but I work,
Yeah,
me. So I feel like I'm not.
but on your
Yeah, it's on
schedule,
my schedule. But I'm gonna be honest, man. I still get up at 4:45 in the morning.
same.
Yeah, but it's for me. Like so. That would be the first one. The first one was like, okay, you need to figure out why you would be willing to do it. Why would you do this? And then the second piece would just be if you're gonna do it, fully immerse yourself in the conversation of real estate. When I say that, I mean study, listen, get around other people, go to a real estate investors meetup, like get yourself involved in the conversation. So when you actually decide to jump into it, the conversations and the words you're hearing aren't as intimidating as they would be if you didn't do any of that. And that's where I think I've been able to move so quickly is I learned the language quickly because I it wasn't just dabbling, bro. I was listening to real estate podcasts on my drives, like whenever I was in the car. I was taking the course when I'm sitting at home. When I'm at the gym, I've got a real estate investors podcast in my ears. I'm not listening to Drake. I'm listening to a real estate investors podcast. Like that was so when it started happening and then people started throwing words at me, I was like, "Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, 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 yeah." 'Cause
bro.
it's easy stuff, but they complicate the language for a reason.
I know that same exact feeling, man. It's like it's rare now that I listen to, you know, whatever music it is I listen to. It's rare that I listen to it. It's like now it's like a podcast that's either going to benefit my life, that's going to, help me out mentally, that's going to better me for my business. It's always some type of podcast. A podcast on how to operate a podcast. Like there's so many ones out, relationship ones. There's so many I listen to, and it's like I said a few minutes back, when I seen the shift in you, I immediately shifted in myself, right? Because I seen that you were like, all right, I need to get my life together, and I want to inspire other people to do the exact same. And that kind of brings me to what I'm going to talk about next. You started a podcast. I think you guys are 13 episodes in now. I actually just watched the latest episode um, earlier this morning. I was folding laundry and I was listening to the podcast, and you guys have a good dynamic together. You bounce off each other really well, but you guys put out so much knowledge, and it's for free. It's on YouTube, and I try to do my best um, to show support and to share it as much as I can because you guys give really good advice. So just quickly talk to me about how Road to Results got started.
Yeah, man. So I mean, Ryan and I met at a conference, and this is why when you were talking about going, I was like, bro, go. Like you need to get into those community of people that are doing what you're doing, so that when you're struggling, you know who to lean on or reach out to. And Ryan and I met at a conference last year in 2022 in Mexico. And you
Hmm.
meet people like you and I, we just click. Like there's probably 300 something people and we just click. So stayed connected like on and off. And then we ran into each other again at another one in Chicago. And then we just check in, hey, how's the fam? Or you'll see a post and just kind of comment. Nothing too like intimate. And then in January, he had January or February, but he had hit me up and he's like, "Hey, like God just put it on my heart, man." He goes, "I want to do a podcast and I want to do it with somebody." And I was like, "Well, the first person I thought it was you." And I was like, "Yo, let's do it." And he's like, "I just don't know what it's gonna be about. So I'm gonna pray about it." And I was like, "Bro, like we had just joined E's mastermind." And even that, like his wife Danielle, and you hear us mention her all the time. She had reached out and she's like, "Yo, like I know Ryan wants to do it, but it is a good investment, like a good amount. Did you do it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." Like I was trying to sign up before they were even done with their little sales pitch, because it's part of the business. Like yo, and wait, there's more. And I was like, "Yo, but just give me the link so I can sign up like right now." And she hit me up over and was like, "Do you think it's good?" Like, listen, I was like, "I'm gonna let you know right now." And this way you said the free stuff. I was like, "What the free stuff has done for me? Yo, I can't wait to see what the stuff that I'm paying for is gonna do for me."
Right.
So she was like, "Say less." So when he hit me up, he's like, "I want to do a podcast. I want to do. I just don't know what I want to be about." And I was like, "Bro, we're just gonna document this 52-week journey." And he was like, "We gonna pray about it." And I was like, "We gonna pray about what?" Like, That's the answer. Like, that's the end. There's nothing to pray about. Like, as soon as I said it, I was like, bro, that's genius. And I was like, yo, that's genius.
Yes.
And man, just the growth through that, because the same thing, like, well, we want to make sure like your camera, like I didn't, bro, you listen to a few episodes, I didn't have no mic and I had a laptop, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I got the wrong mic, so it was echoing, and then like I got a camera, but I don't have the right lens still, and I haven't ordered it because the lens is like a G, and I was like, okay, we'll get it when we get it. I was like, yo, this camera's pretty straight, so we'll just use that one I don't like messing with
Right.
tech stuff, but um,
That's kind of the same convo that you and I had when it was when I said I was going to do it, and I was like, I'm just going to use my phone. So anybody watching this right now, this is being recorded on my phone, my iPhone.
yeah, bro, and it looks clean, like it looks clean, like, but yeah, so that, I mean that's
It might be the Eagle jersey.
minus that little little Jalen Hurts. But nah, so I mean, we didn't even have bro, we didn't even have a name for the podcast, I think, until like episode 5 or 6. Like we were like, I don't know, we had a couple other names and we were just kind of tossing around. And then finally we were like, yo, what about like the road to results? Because that's all we're trying to, because the thing when we first joined East Mastermind was like, yo, just think results, results, results. And we're like, okay, the road to results, uncovering the mindset journey is like the subtitle. And like, because we just kept talking, it's like, yo, like you never really get to the results that you think that you're reaching for. So you're constantly on the road. Like it is a journey. It is all your mindset. And every time you think, hey, this is where I want to be, you've learned something new or you met someone that's doing something different. And you're like, yo, I'm gonna do that. Like I'm gonna do that.
Yes.
And then you do that and you meet someone else and you're
Because
like, "Nah, Imma pivot, Imma do that." Like, it's not changing your mind all the time, it's like, I'm modifying to, like, what truly fits me.
and if I'm being honest, and I may have shared this with you, you guys are the reason that I decided to start this channel. I was watching, it was probably episode like 4 or 5. Like it was, you were still using like the Apple headphones. Like it was still like new to you. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like it was just the message that you guys were giving. I was like, man, with my experiences, with my life, how I've done things in my lifestyle, I can be a positive voice on this whole YouTube, you know, podcast or channel, however you want to slice it. I can be a positive beacon for people to um, get value from what I'm
Yeah.
saying. All right, guys. Next week, we will play the final part of this video, part 3, where Ray talks about how he started with breaking formation and how that venture is going for him. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. Turn your notifications on. Thank you all for the support, and I hope you all tune in next Monday for the final part of the interview with Ray.